Hi everyone, glad you made it to this page. And right here, I just want to be able to hopefully be able to help you out because this is something that I had little trouble with when trying to learn it. Now, obviously, everyone knows the 1, 4, 5 chords. Those are the major chords in the scale, the 1, 4, 5s, and it's easy to just see them and play it. You see it on the music, on the lead sheet or whatever, and you play it. But like, why? What makes it a 1? What makes it a 4? What makes it a 5? So I want to be able to help you practice that and practice listening and just being able to hear the differences between each chord. Like, what can you tell from it? What makes it that sound? What gives it that sound? And so we made it to the chords. All these, the chart. Hopefully you're familiar with it by now. And one song that we're going to practice with is, I think it's on the top of this page, is Mighty to Save. And so you see here, there's a D chord, A chord, F sharp minor, E, and D. First, identify which key this is in. And again, if you saw that pop quiz question at the top, this verse, the first verse of Mighty to Save, it starts with a D. See, everyone needs compassion goes to an A. And here you see there's a D in the key of D, there's an A. And that looks like it looks like it's in the key of D. The 1 chord being the root chord. But it's actually not, because if you look at this, Love That's Never Failing, there's F sharp minor, Let Mercy, E, Fall on Me, D. So it's got a D, A, E, D, F sharp minor. Let's go back to this. And if you look at the key of D, the top line, D, E minor, G, A, it doesn't have the G. The G is not the 4th chord. And there's no F sharp minor, but if you look in the key of A, the last one down at the bottom is the A. The 4th chord is a D. Right, right over here, the D. And then the 5th chord is E. And then it does have F sharp minor, and that's the 6th minor. So let's take a look at that again. So here you see it. Okay, so we're gonna play around with this and what makes those chords the chords that they are. So here's a D, here's an A, F sharp minor, E. Okay, so the reason why I chose this song for the pop quiz because it's a little tricky. Just because it starts with D doesn't mean it's in D. The key is in A. And so if you think of the chorus of Mighty to Save, it's Savior, He can make the mountains, Savior. That's the A. That's the root chord. That's the 1 chord, A. But so when we go into the verse, D, everyone needs compassion. See, it starts off with a D. The D is the, here we go, 4th chord. Okay, right there, 4th chord. That D. So D starts with the 4th chord. It's kind of like at the end of a hymn when you say, it's that 4th chord that resolves down to the 1 chord. So you got the 4th chord, D. And then F sharp minor. That's the 6th minor, 5th chord, E. D. Okay. So So you have the fourth chord again on D. Everyone needs compassion. One chord. See, you hear the one chord. This is the song that the key's in. So if you play any note in the key of A, so that's A. And then love that's never failing drops down to the F sharp minor, the 6 minor, and then mercy and fall, that's the 5 and the 4 chord. So those are the trickiest ones to identify because they're 5 and 4, they're right next to each other. So there's the E, the 5th chord, and the 4th chord. So if you're just going to it from the 1st chord, and if you just jump to go from a 1 to a 4, so A, and then a D, which is the 4th. Can you tell? 1, 4, or what if we go 1 to 5? 1, 5. So it's a little tricky to tell the difference between 1 to 4 or 1 to 5. Now I guess if you really thought about it, let's say we go 1 to 5. 1, A, down to E. It still sounds like it could go a little bit lower to a 4th. So 1, 5. So you hear that? 2. So 4, 5. So you hear those types of progressions a lot. Most common one is like a 1, 4, 5. 1, 4, 5. So, hope that can help you identify them a little bit. One other trick, if you have the 5th chord, so in this case, an E, and if you play the 7th of it, so if you take the first note, or the root note, and drop it a 7th, a lot of times that'll give it the sound of, it has to go back to the 1 chord. So this E, like it has to go back to the A. This is the 1 chord, A. Because it won't quite sound as right if it goes from the 7th, 5th chord to a 4th. And then 1. Okay, doesn't quite sound as good. So let's go 1, 4, 5, 4, 5, okay, 4, 5, and then same thing. If you go 1, 4, 5, and 4, it sounds like it could go up a step. 4, 2, 2. A lot of times from the 5th chord, so 4, 5, the 5 will lead to a 1. Okay. So, again, like I showed you earlier, practice listening to it. So you just try to, when you're playing songs, listen to them, try to see if you can identify them, and you kind of hear the sound like, that sounds like a 4th. It doesn't quite sound like a 5th, or like the 5th will kind of like a closing chord, where a lot of times the 5th is end a phrase. Not all the time, of course, but it can. So you can kind of hear that sound of it. So practice that, learn the chart, and then of course, makes it easier when you're transposing and going back and forth on this chart. Alright, so hopefully that helps you. Keep learning, keep practicing, and it'll be all good when you're playing. Alright, I'll see you next time.